Few realize how far digital surveillance at work has advanced and how quietly it transforms daily routines for millions. What if every moment away from your station triggered an automated warning? In some American warehouses, this is reality. Imagine a typical Amazon fulfillment center in the US. Rows of shelves under fluorescent lights, workers moving quickly, each action tracked by handheld scanners. A similar scene exists in many British facilities, yet the systems that govern surveillance and privacy often differ in key ways. In this video, the focus turns to how employee monitoring in the USA and Great Britain compares. The countdown covers 10 major contrasts, including legal limits, the tools managers deploy, and how workplace cultures shape daily life. Research, labor forms, reports, and employee testimony form the basis for these insights, not just headlines or second-hand accounts. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe. Number 10. Surveillance standards diverge. American giants like Amazon and Walmart, together employing more than 2.7 million workers, rely on digital systems that track nearly everything an employee does. In a warehouse in Illinois or Texas, each package scan is logged by the second. Time spent in the restroom or in conversation is automatically counted. In many cases, more than 30 minutes a day marked as off-task, occurring just 3 times in a year, can result in termination. Always-on cameras back up digital records. By contrast, British law gives strong weight to worker privacy. Video is generally permissible only for safety, theft prevention, or clearly justified purposes. Company policies must spell out how data is collected and used. British warehouse workers may see monitoring in action, but are more likely to receive formal notification, and routine video surveillance that singles out individual performance is harder to justify. Maybe you've noticed this yourself, perhaps at a previous job. When was the first time you saw a workplace tracking bathroom breaks? Number 9. Data transparency gap. In much of America, few warehouse and retail workers know which data their employers collect or how records may be used. An Oxfam survey suggests more than half of Amazon and Walmart employees never receive specific information about monitoring. Privacy statements from both firms confirm they gather associate information while on the job, but rarely detail which kinds or how long they're stored. British employers, under stricter rules, must provide clear explanations. UK regulations require written notices about workplace monitoring and its limits. Surprise checks are discouraged. Employees in a British warehouse are likely to find a printed policy sheet explaining their rights, while US staff often discover practices only if they ask Yishak, and management typically controls the flow of details. Number 8. Legal protections, weak versus strong. U.S. digital surveillance laws in most workplaces still depend on the Electronic Communications Privacy Act of 1986, a statute from the days of landlines and typewriters. This patchwork means employees rarely have robust privacy guarantees, especially if company equipment or property is involved. Messages, screen activity, website visits, and even webcam images can be observed in many states, usually without explicit consent. In the UK, by contrast, the Data Protection Act aligns with the EU's GDPR. Employers must justify surveillance, discuss it with staff, and avoid intrusive monitoring when less invasive methods exist. For example, a manager in Manchester cannot lawfully use keystroke loggers to read personal messages checked during a lunch break, if personal use is permitted. Surveillance can't simply be routine or unannounced. Americans are used to the rule that once you're on the clock, privacy often ends. British workers expect clearer boundaries between management oversight and personal time. Number 7. High-tech monitoring tools. In the United States, software like Hubstaff and Time Doctor is common on work computers, capturing keystrokes, mouse movements, visited sites, and sometimes webcam photos every 10 minutes. Larger workplaces add biometric scanners that use fingerprints or eye tracking for attendance and focus checks. Some systems assign productivity scores down to the minute, ranking coworkers against one another. UK employers, under tighter restrictions, avoid regular use of webcams or location tracking unless legally justified. Regular automated image capture is rare and only appears in exceptional cases. British unions frequently press for negotiations before any new surveillance tool is introduced. In London, it's common to see notification signs about monitoring systems, while similar signs are less visible in major U.S. facilities. Number 6. Culture and stress. In many American fulfillment centers, cameras and scanners shape a workplace culture marked by silent, constant pressure. Workers report feeling like parts of a machine, expected to meet ever-rising targets with little space for small delays. Oxfam data indicates that 75% of Amazon employees and 74% at Walmart feel ongoing pressure to increase their speed. More than half say that even taking a bathroom break becomes difficult due to digital oversight. Any deviation, even a slight slowdown or a missed quota, triggers automatic reminders or discipline. Across the Atlantic, British facilities also push for efficiency. Yet employees are likelier to challenge intrusive practices, and trade unions routinely negotiate break policies or protest detailed surveillance. For many Americans, it can be surprising to learn that dispute processes in Britain often involve formal appeals and workplace councils, making it more difficult for management to introduce new systems without debate. Over time, this habit of negotiating boundaries leads to more open workplace discussions about fairness. Number 5. Discipline approaches. Large American firms often rely on automated correction. If a worker misses quota or records too much time-off task, a warning is generated by software. Just a few flagged instances can result in job loss, all confirmed by timestamps and video logs. At Amazon's Staten Island warehouse, managers must identify top offenders each shift, checking camera records before disciplinary action. Walmart has patented technology for monitoring conversations and employee interactions on the sales floor. In the UK, outcomes are rarely decided by digital monitoring alone. Management must carry out additional steps, consulting human resources, reviewing broader circumstances, and often involving union representatives. Protections against arbitrary authority exist in formal grievance procedures and employment tribunals, options that generally remain out of reach for most U.S. warehouse workers. The American system, which often lets the computer decide, can remove human judgment from the process. By contrast, the British approach, though slower, values review and dialogue. Number 4. Productivity paradox. Companies invest in monitoring for efficiency, yet research shows constant measurement on the job often leads to unintended consequences. In many U.S. workplaces, round-the-clock surveillance tends to increase stress and cut motivation, which can reduce overall productivity. Despite the evidence, American employers continue expanding digital tools, convinced that more data means higher output. Employers in Great Britain face a similar contradiction. Digital tracking is sometimes justified for process improvement, yet strong privacy rules and union oversight force managers to slow down, pause, or justify a new project. The drive for ever-better measurement and automation may threaten morale, causing debate about lasting value. Before smartphones were common, direct supervision relied on conversation and observation. Today, software promises precise oversight, but workers and managers alike often recall the more human approach and question whether all this tracking produces what was promised. Number 3. Remote work monitoring. Since 2020, more Americans work from home. Managers often respond by installing time tracking apps and location tools on both company computers and phones. Programs like Hubstaff record every click or typed word, tallying productivity minute by minute. Some software captures screenshots, logs GPS movement, and even stores webcam images. In the UK, regulators treat remote monitoring with more caution. Legal guidance requires a clear business case for such tracking, with direct staff consultations beforehand. Routine webcam photos or location data collection for home-based employees are generally discouraged, unless a compelling need is proven. By now, you might be comparing it to your own life. What year did your employer first start tracking your email or computer activity during remote work? Number 2. Power imbalance. In the U.S., laws rarely address the uneven relationship between employer and worker when it comes to consent for digital tracking. Saying no to a new surveillance policy often isn't an option if you want to stay employed. Britain handles the topic differently. Regulations recognize the imbalance, requiring that intrusive monitoring can only be introduced with clear business need or after negotiation with staff councils. Surveillance systems like keyloggers or cameras may appear only when less intrusive alternatives fail. This requirement alters daily routines for many office workers. When a London company launches a monitoring program, union representatives often join planning meetings and raise questions, a contrast that tends to surprise visiting Americans or Canadians. Number 1. Legal pushback. Differences in oversight become most obvious when disputes arise. France's Data Protection Authority fined Amazon $32 million for invasive employee monitoring. Luxembourg imposed a $746 million penalty on Amazon for customer surveillance activities. Great Britain has increased regulatory scrutiny as part of this European trend. Penalties for overreach are rare and lower in the U.S., Legal action against companies for workplace surveillance is the exception, not the rule, and most officials treat monitoring as a normal business decision. In Britain, employees who believe they are being watched too closely can submit complaints through unions or seek help from government agencies with genuine enforcement power. Americans tend to accept digital oversight as a modern workplace reality. In the UK, many see these practices as a potential violation of privacy, with clear channels to push back. Think about your own experience for a moment. Was there ever a British company or service where your privacy felt more respected than in the US? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.